Alright guys, today we're going to talk about Iron Lung. Before we get into the video, a large majority of people who watch my videos are not subscribed. So if you could just real quick hit that subscribe button, it would help the channel so much, and I appreciate it. Let's get back to the video. If you haven't heard about Iron Lung yet, which I'm a little late to the party, it is a movie the YouTuber Markiplier made. Now, Markiplier has been working on this movie for the last 3 years, and it's been a game he liked a lot. However, a lot of people, they don't really like the game, mostly for the gameplay. It's kind of repetitive. And the game Iron Lung is like you're in a submarine and you just have to change your angle of where you're facing to get to certain places just to take a picture. So it's kind of repetitive, and driving around is kind of boring, but the story everyone thinks is, it's pretty compelling. The story of Iron Lung is, without getting into spoilers, because Markiplier doesn't want any spoilers, so there's no spoilers in this review here. So Markiplier, known as the convict in the movie, he is put into the Iron Lung, which is a submarine. He is put down into the ocean of blood to look for like bones or anything, life or anything, because all of the life has just suddenly disappeared, and only the people in space at the time are the ones left. So they're trying to figure out what happened, and they're trying to rebuild civilization. There's some eldritch horrors down here, and listen, there's something alive, right? I will say the first half of this movie, it is a slow burn, and I can appreciate a slow burn, but I can understand why some people wouldn't like it as much, because it really is just Markiplier the convict just doing chores, really. It does not really move along that fast. And then eventually he gets a picture of something that's actually substantial. He goes back up and he gets sent back down. And then the comms break, and that's when the movie actually really starts to pick up in. I'd say if you're looking for a horror movie, this isn't really scary, like jump scares scary, but it's uncanny, like cosmic horror kind of deal. It'll have you on the edge of your seat, but I don't think there's a moment when you're gonna jump back in fear and go, "Oh gosh!" There's no moments in the movie that are gonna jump out at you like that. So let's talk about a couple main components that I liked and I didn't like. So talking about the components of the movie I did like, I really like how they use the set. So the whole set of the entire movie is in the submarine. And obviously, because it's a one-man show, all Markiplier, basically the whole movie is just Markiplier, by the way. There's not many interaction with other people and barely anyone else on the screen. But they did really well with this. They had him in the Iron Lung the entire time. It was just camera in the Iron Lung. And they did it really well. The design of the submarine is near identical as the game. And I really liked how they did the set. Especially on a low budget, it looked good. I would say the movie looked good overall. Even at the end, when there was a little CGI showing one of the monsters, I would say it was pretty serviceable. Better than modern Marvel CGI, that's for sure. I really liked the sound design, the music. It really just kept you involved. And as I said earlier, it is a slow burn, but it's just like eating your vegetables before getting to the main course. You just gotta learn what's going on, and you gotta build up the story. And that's what the whole first half of the movie really is. Now, getting on to the things I don't like is, there was times when I couldn't really hear what someone was saying. Just in the ship, just to give you a visual image, there's a little speaker on the roof, and you can hear it sometimes. But throughout the movie, as the convict would go deeper in depth in the ocean, it would be staticky and hard to hear. And there's times when I keep saying Markiplier, when the convict and the person on the intercom have talked, and it's very difficult to hear them, even on times when you would assume you would be supposed to hear them, you know? And you just can't. Like, you can hear the convict's response, but you can't hear what they're saying back that easily. That's probably my main issue, is just audio mixing. Just audio mixing, really. The visuals are really good. I think they told a really good story, and I personally never played the game, never watched the game before watching this movie. So I went in with, like, a new set of eyes, basically. I didn't know what to expect. And I was thoroughly impressed. I really enjoyed the journey I was taken on. The absolute despair. Like, that's the main fear, is just despair that the convict goes through throughout the movie. Like I said, I'm not going to get any spoilers, but he is welded into a submarine underwater, and he's trying to get back to the surface. So that's what I like. That's what I didn't like. Now, his acting overall, I think it was actually quite good. I think because Markiplier is a content creator who I watch somewhat regularly, it was somewhat difficult for me to view him as the convict and not Markiplier. But I don't know. I thought his acting got better as the movie went on. Like, towards the beginning, I was like, oh, it was just Markiplier. And then as the movie went on, I feel like his acting got better. Now, actually, this is something I want to touch on as well, is some of the verbiage was just like, a lot of Markiplier's acting was just him screaming, like, fuck this shit! Get me the fuck out of here! I don't want to fucking die! Like, Markiplier is screaming, like, nonstop the second half, and F-bomb here, F-bomb there, dude. Like, the verbiage, dude, like, I want to get the fuck out of here. Like, it's just fucking Markiplier cursing like a sailor, dude. Overall, for people, I think, who would enjoy this movie, I think people who, you know, they like Markiplier, I think they'll like this movie. I think people who like Iron Lung, they will love this movie, because I did later on watch a playthrough of the game, and it is pretty much identical to the story of the game. So if you like the story of Iron Lung, you are going to like this movie. And then who else would like this movie? People who are there for a scare, I wouldn't say they would love this movie. This is more of a suspense type of movie. And as I said earlier, it is a slow burn. It is a slow burn. So you're not going to go in there and be packed with action, packed with stuff going on. Like I said, it starts off with Markiplier just doing some daily tasks for the submarine and getting things figured out. And then it eventually devolves into him trying to survive. And that's when it gets more entertaining. And for another thing I don't like, and this is something the game didn't do it that well either, is I think it did a decent job of explaining the story of what was going on. But at times I was just like so confused what was going on. Like, I don't want to get into spoilers, but at some point Markiplier, he's either hallucinating towards the end of the movie because his oxygen is getting low, or there's this voice of a dead ship person already who's telling him to go somewhere. He ends up going to this spot, and some crazy shit happens. And I'm not going to spoil it. Quite frankly, I don't even understand what happened. But it was some cosmic crazy shit that happened, dude. Also, the ending. I understand the ending, like what it represented. But I don't know. I just didn't really like the ending that much. And the whole thing, the data they gathered, I wasn't sure, like, what it was even, but that's the main thing. I think there's a lot of things unexplained, and I just wish they filled more of these gaps for me. It is nice. It does leave it up for theories, and I've seen a lot of theories online about this movie. Iron Lung, I liked it. It was a good movie. Very good for an independent developer. Also, I want to touch on this. Iron Lung was the number one movie within the weekend it launched in the US. And that's crazy, because this is an independent film, solely financed by Markiplier. Hollywood ended up taking this John down, dude, because they didn't want this film to overshadow their films. And I just think that's so stupid. And it really just shows how scummy the film industry is. Like how scummy Hollywood is. I mean, that's the coldest statement ever, right? Hollywood is scummy business, dude. It's a scummy place. It's greedy. It's so many scandals have happened there. I'm sure half the people, celebrities there, are on the Epstein list as more of it's coming out. I just wanted to touch on that and go watch the movie. If you're not really a big fan of slow burns, it might be a little bit of a slog towards the first half, but I think it's a movie most people would enjoy. But you really got to pay attention and you really got to focus. You got to open up your ears because there's, like I said, there's some parts that I couldn't even hear, and it is hard to hear sometimes. So yeah, that's Iron Lung. Those are my thoughts on it. Check it out. So yeah, see ya.